Woo. Mm-mm-mm. Morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I've been up this morning since about 2 o'clock, actually. Yeah, about 2. Sometimes. I think I've been up since about 2. Yeah, it's 4 o'clock, yeah. So I've been up in prayer. I get up 2 o'clock every morning. Every morning I'm up. Cause it's quiet. I can hear, I can hear like the night flies and the crickets outside. I can hear it. It's first of all, it's quiet and it's still, and that's like I said, this is my time to myself. But I can get in, and get my thoughts together for things I need to do for the day. But I can pray and focus on things that I may have saw in my dreams, and just truly stay aligned with God and stay on my purpose, man. This is the walk with Christ is spiritual, spiritual connection, intimacy with Him one on one, and I embrace it. I love it, you know. And these are June's thoughts and facts, for real, man. I was sitting there thinking about, you have children that are going to school, and some of the teachers, I've noticed it too, and I've seen it since COVID. Some of these children, like the reading and the writing, and some of them can read, but they don't know how to comprehend it is what they've read. Like I say, I try to teach my son. I let him know that, hey man, you have to be careful because some of these words have different meanings, and depending on how it's used in text, it could change uh, the whole word, meaning of it. How you understand it. Sometimes you have to read things 2 or 3 times to make sure you're truly fully understanding it word for word. But they were saying on social media, some of these teachers were saying some of their students, they have been having to pass them through the course, and that makes you wonder sometimes. And I do. I wonder for the ones that have to come behind us, because like I say, in the city that we're in, that I'm in now, I know back in 2016 they deployed the military. It was considered a state of emergency because of during the opioid epidemic. The city didn't even know what was going on. Local law enforcement, they didn't have no control over it. So they deployed troops in plain clothes, and they used satellite footage. And that satellite footage technology, they had been talking about it since 2007 anyway, in certain places. A lot of people didn't know it. But I remember when I went to a meeting at the Marriott off of Glenwood Avenue. It probably was 30 people in that boardroom, that conference room at that time. And they handed out, there was a copy of 2 DVDs that I still have put up. And they were talking about then how they were going to restructure and restructure and reprogram America. It didn't have nothing to do, and some of this stuff was written down in a book. But the people who were on that DVD, those 2 discs, whoo, very, very powerful people. And they some of these families' last names, like Hudson's, Hilton's, GE, Uh, some of these people and some of your appliances, like I said, GE, their family, the last names of some of these people. I mean, they have a lot of power, and some of these families' names were on that disc, and some of their faces, they were there, but they talked about, like I say, when you think about the military that's being released, people talk about the military walking around in Washington D.C. in uniforms. But like I say, in the city that I'm in now, like in Rocky Mount, I would say at the time, Rocky Mount, outside of Rocky Mount, I'm just gonna say that, yeah, outside, we outside the country. But you had the Marines used to walk around here, and they used to come in from Fort Bragg too, and they used to walk around in plain clothes. They used to be in Raleigh. They were walking around. They were going around and they were targeting certain areas that had a lot of the crime rate. They were going after, I don't know, certain cities. They were going, especially food boys. They were going after illegal immigrants. They were also going after. They were going off after, and they were targeting, especially drug dealers. Boy, they were getting it. They were getting it. But the best way, it's been a war on drugs for many, many, many years, and the best way to do it is sometimes they do it in plain clothes, man. And they're training the youth in the classroom almost as if, I've noticed some of these old armories that have been sitting up closed for many years in some of these little small towns are being revitalized. Like they're going to open them back up. And if you already have had troops walking around in plain clothes, and then the people complain about the ones walking around in uniforms in certain cities, we know anytime America goes to war, yeah, it costs money, but it also, and it takes people's family members away from them, but it takes money to make money too, and we don't never know where and how they're getting this thing set up to where we don't ever know what our children are going to be in the next 4 or 5 years, especially if they start talking about doing a draft. And there are certain people I know in the military said they've heard certain talks about that. But when you think about having a war right here in the United States, and you talk about regular civilians walking around with your National Guards and regular men, I don't think it would be like what people think it's going to be like, because you can't outpower the military. You can't. They go to other countries and the United States go to other countries and are bullies there. So what do you think they're going to do over here to a regular civilian in America? Oh, boy, shoot, boy. Oh, for real. People better go somewhere and sit down. Follow suit, but structure your homes. Teach your children how to conduct themselves properly out in public, so they're not having any no no weird interactions with law enforcement or the troops they see on the streets. Cause like I say, when the troops came in the Rocky Mountain, they had more power on the streets than your law enforcement did. Cause they were breaking. Some of them were breaking. And what if they found out as them drug dealers? And there's some. I remember there was a situation over there by the Rocky Mount recycling place, that trailer park over in there. Them Marines were taking them boys out, execution style, and people didn't know what was going on. But them were sniper hits from a distance. If they found out them boys were selling stuff that started with an H, or if it started with an F, I don't even. Well, I'm trying to say I don't talk about stuff like that on my phone. But if they found out that people had those type of products that they were pushing, well, the military they were going in and wiping them boys out, and they were leaving them in there with their products to make it expect. Because think about how many lives they had took. Real, man. This thing is real, man. Teach your children how to move accordingly, man. Most important, sometimes it's best to stay at home. I've learned how to enjoy myself. That's why I get up here. This is my therapy. I speak true facts and I move with purpose. I don't need no friends to be right around me because I can post this content right here and I can see who going, I don't see all my comments, but I know I have enough people who are watching it. Somebody sees it. Cause I go out in the community, so I be at the store, and it'll be sometimes somebody might mention something they seen me. They'll say something to me that they might have heard me say on one of my videos, and I think it's funny. So, but yeah, man, message and energy don't lie neither. Real boy, technology like people be thinking some of the old videos I got up there when I be talking about you got the sun and the moon at the same time. Well, please, I done went outside and seen. That's really those are satellites. I've been spotted 16 different satellites in this area because it ain't and they flicker on and off in the distance. But you got boy, I see like an eagle. I see like an eagle, boy. For real, man. But like I say, man, I ain't gonna hold it all up this morning. Just stay on your purpose, because not everyone's gonna have this. You could start from the same starting point, but my step may be bigger than yours. And you can't get jealous because of how God made me or what God may have me doing in my life. But then some people, even though you start off at the same point, that doesn't mean you're going to the same place. And it might take some people longer to get there, depending on the process that God is taking them through. Just know, hey man, walk in your purpose. I encourage you, get into your word, man. Feed your spirit, man. Feed your natural. Y'all be blessed, be encouraged.